Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, can you talk about a little bit about equanimity, having being a, treating people, um, talking to people, everybody with respect, even people that, you know, maybe personal issues might be getting in the way, or just feeling like you don't have the time to do it, or, it seems like this is always going to be a problem as long as my
Yes,
ego is.
it will always be a problem, Derek. I mean, most people do not live with an awful lot of consciousness, and we're up against them all the time. Now, we can get upset, we can get angry, we can blow all our energy because of those people, or they can remind us that we need to get stronger inside to grow, to become more of a human being, and to just forgive them. They haven't the foggiest idea what they're doing. I mean, look, I spent 30 years in business. I was in the art business and pretty serious level. I mean, you can't imagine all the gangsters and crazies that I met selling all this refined art. You know, People that, I mean, I had to overcome it. I had to find a place inside myself where I learned something from these people, even if it was what I don't want to do with my life. So I think, look, the universe is endlessly giving us gifts. Sometimes we don't like the gifts they give us. You understand? But how do we use them? How does it work? How do we get stronger how do we grow? Because of somebody else's lack of consciousness. Now, if you get strong, forgiving these people, boy, you get really strong inside. Because then you can deal with I mean, how do you read a newspaper without getting upset today? With all the bullshit that goes on in this wars and this and that and crazy politicians and, America's become a fascist country and God bless. What else you have to read in the newspapers? You can get very upset. Or you can, read this stuff and say, okay, I can grow above it. It doesn't have to suck my energy out of me. I can build the chi, the power in myself to stay above other people's madness. And those people serve a very good purpose. I mean, you get married, for instance, it's all about love and the end of the world together, and we will never. And you get divorced, and it's all about money and what's mine and what's yours. It becomes a war. You know, I know I went through it. And Rudy and Nityananda just kept saying, Stuart, this too shall pass. It'll pass. Forgive them. It's just money. It's just an illusion. It's all Maya that everybody fights about. So that's what I suggest. Thank the people that are difficult in your life. Go up and bring them a flower and say, thanks for being difficult. First of all, it'll break down the situation. Everybody's going to start laughing. And secondly, it'll teach you about how this too shall pass. It all passes. Why should I let this suck my life out of me? I'm very serious about being funny about this. I mean, bring people that are difficult, bring them a bouquet of flowers and thank them for really making you grow. I mean, you think Rudy was easy on me? Boy, there were times when I got really upset with the stuff. And then I'd bring him a flower. I'd say thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Well, does anyone else have a question?
Third, I have a question.
Yes, Paul?
How do you negotiate with a gangster and manage to stay neutral?
How do you negotiate with who?
With a gangster.
Oh man. I can tell you stories, Juan, that I don't want to tell you. But
No, I'm saying how do you negotiate with a difficult person and stay neutral, not get sucked into it?
how do I do it today and how did I do it yesterday? I used to
How-
do it with my heart open. I would do it staying centered and ground. I remember in India, in Jaipur, I walked into a gallery and there were five or six salesmen there and they looked at me. A white guy walked into the gallery and money. And they came at me like, I'm telling you, it was unbelievable, like eagles diving for a rabbit or something, you know? And I just started to laugh. So what I did is I went over to the Ganesh, they had a big Ganesh there. And in India, you put a little money in front of the Ganesh. You bring a gift. So I took about 20 rupees out of my pocket and put it right in front of the Ganesh. And these guys all stopped. Are you Hindu? They asked me. But within 5 minutes, we became friends, laughing, kidding around, having fun. It was unbelievable. So, you got to find what works and what breaks up the tension in a situation. I mean, I've had 1,000 tales I could tell like this, breaking up tension in a situation, making it work for you. I mean, I told you that story a million times about that guy in Big Indian. Got his name today. It's a long time ago. I went up there to relax and take it easy and just chill out. I had a very difficult winter running business, going to school, I was doing a million things. And Rudy said, go up there and relax, and that's what it's for. So I went up and I saw a tractor. I told you this story, but I'll repeat it. It's such a good story. I, you know, I, I saw a tractor on the lawn there, and the grass was almost as tall as me. And I said, what a good thing to do would be to get on that tractor and cut the grass. It had an implement attached to it where you could cut the grass. So I got on the tractor, started it up. I started driving this tractor, cutting grass. And the guy who was the manager of the ashram come running from one side of the ashram, screaming at me, screaming at me. And I, fine, you did this, and I've been there 10 minutes. You did this and that and the other. What the? So I get off the tractor, and I walk up to him, and we're like nose to nose. And usually it would have, before Rudy, this was a fist fight. And I said, Stuart, just listen to him. Listen to him. Don't say a word. Just let him work out the tension. So I spent about 10 minutes being berated for having done 50,000 things wrong, yelled at and screamed at, threatened that I'd never come to the ashram again, and all kinds of stuff. And finally, this guy just broke down and he started to cry. His whole system just broke down, started to cry, and he hugged me. And he said, thank you, Stuart. He just needed some way to get rid of the tension, and he was using me to get rid of his tension. And I remember it brought tears to my eyes. A new way of dealing with somebody else who's lost it. Keep your mouth shut. Listen to them. Don't let them intimidate you. Don't blow your energy on somebody else's craziness. And listen. Now that has saved me so much money and time and energy, just being able to do a little thing like that. And the incredible thing is the guy was a friend of mine. He was. I used to like him and his wife. He had a beautiful little daughter. They were very dear people to me. And just remember, everything passes. Why should anything that takes place in any moment of our lives take our lives away? All passes. I mean, if World War II passed, then all this craziness in the Middle East is going to pass. The Ukraine, it all passes. Are we strong enough not to allow it to cut our connection with higher energy in the universe? That's the big question. Or does it just suck us dry? Does anyone else have a question?
I have a follow-up question to that.
Yes.
Um, so in terms of keeping your heart open in the face of those types of dynamics, is it sometimes best to like move away from a relationship where the door keeps getting
Uh,
closed
it,
in your
it, it,
face?
it's much better to walk away than fight with the person. Walk away and just say, look, I don't need this in my life. I don't have to have you berating me and yelling at me, and I don't need this.
And so the silent treatment, like that's actually how it comes for me.
Excuse me?
Like the silent treatment, like
The
I keep
violent?
waiting for some kind of a shift.
I don't understand what you're asking.
Like maybe the other person is giving me the silent treatment and I keep leaving the door open and it feels very painful.
All right, so let them be silent. Better. You don't have to deal with their bullshit. But learn to get strong enough in yourself where somebody else's activity doesn't intimidate you. You can function when somebody else is doing something negative. You can function quietly. You can make real decisions about what you have to do. I mean, another story. Somebody once called me up. I remember they got married. It was this beautiful wedding. They created paradise. It was a lifetime of being together. It was, 2 years later, I get a phone call from the woman being abused by her husband. And she can't take it anymore. And I told her, look, God created marriage, God created divorce. Why are you allowing this to wreck your life? Just walk away from it. But you've got to be very strong to do the things I talk about. You can't allow it like a corkscrew to get into your guts and rip them out. You have to have chi, you have to have power inside. You have to have a chakra system that is really developed inside, that you could just look at somebody and say, no, I don't need this in my life. I'm sorry. This is the way you're going to treat me. I don't have to have this in my life.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? A weak person can't do what I'm talking about. And all this meditation is about building that kind of inner strength, the strength to be connected to spirit and at the exact same time to make conscious choices in your life and in your karma. Those two things do not separate, they work together, being connected to a higher energy and then the pragmatic, living in a material world and knowing how to function in it and make conscious choices. And live without expectations. That's a big one. About the way people are supposed to function, because they never do. Does anyone else have a question? So just have 30 seconds of promotion here. I'm happy to say, probably in a couple of days, I will have a copy of my book, which is amazing, just to examine and to see if it's right. And then I'll be able to order the books for all of you that have, paid for it and have ordered the books for me. So it's great. It's really coming together on a remarkable level. And I can, as I told you all, there's an acknowledgement in my book to the people that attend these classes. Because without the questions, without the energy of these classes, this book would have never been written. So there's a big thank you to all of you. God bless you all. Thank you. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then there'll be meditation for those of you who live in the Western world this evening. And the next class here will be on Sunday. Thank you. Bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Bless you.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Stuart.
welcome.